welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. So I know it's been a minute. Just a little bit of housekeeping like I did last time. If you want to skip it, I will put the timestamps down below. But I know I have a lot to catch up on. Got a huge list of topics that I'm currently working through, and I am also taking recommendations still, so I consider all of them whenever they do come in. I will also be uploading tarot readings moving forward on this channel. Just makes it a lot easier to consolidate my channels for right now. And I will be making an updated video about how to actually use tarot for your manifestation, because you guys know that tarot isn't tarot. It's not like the universe is sending you a message or something. It's a tool and a technique like everything else. But today I want to talk about self-concept. So on my break, oh boy, I was hit in the face with it, and pretty badly. And sometimes we think that we affirmed enough, but then all of a sudden we get into a situation and we realize, wow, maybe I didn't affirm enough, as in my affirmation wasn't fully rounded out. And a way to circumvent that is to just try to affirm as generally as possible. Let's say your self-concept is surrounded with childhood trauma or something. The more you are generally affirming that you don't have it, or you revise it and say, this never happened or this happened differently, the bigger of a chance you have of getting rid of it. So let's say, for example, you're in a very contentious relationship with one of your parents and you cut off contact. And during that time, you affirmed for one scenario, and then you decided, you know what, I think I'm ready. I'm going to go back in contact with them. And you do, and you get in that scenario and everything is going great, but all of a sudden they say something, maybe just completely not thinking about it, and you get so triggered, and then you fall into old patterns again, and everything that you've done before, it kind of feels like it's falling apart. Remember, it's not, you can't screw up your manifestation, but it's almost like there was a tiny trigger word, if you will. It's almost like you have a bunch of landmines, and you need to be careful where to step in order to not set all of them off. And this tiny moment might feel like to you that it was either a setback, or it's just not working for you, or you wasted all this, time and energy that you put into it, which, by the way, remember, this is not wasted time or energy if you still were able to be in a good space with the first situation. However, you do need to always be aware of what is going on in your mind and your subconscious, and just go with it as best as you can. Now, another thing I see very often addressed is it really important? Do I really need self-concept in order to manifest anything? The answer is yes and no. Do I need self-concept to bring something in? No, you absolutely do not. If you have the correct story, let's say you want to manifest money and you have a negative story that you affirmed, you can manifest that money, but you will probably end up in a situation where you will have to continuously manifest money, consciously putting a lot of effort into it and really working for it. If, however, your self-concept automatically states that you always manifest money, that you're always abundant, you're never lacking anything because that's just who you are, you get paid to exist, or you don't even need money because everything is being taken care of for you and everything works out in your favor anyway, that takes a lot of pressure on away from you when it comes to future manifestations. Something that everybody wants to manifest is an SP. So let's take an example with the SP. A lot of people manifest, relationships, commitments, text messages, whatever the case may be. And they get their SP back. But then I have people coming to me saying, I did everything and my SP is interested in me or committed to me or whatever, but now there's a third party. Now there's weird behavior or whatever the case, or arguments or whatever the case may be, right? Or all of a sudden, they went from loving me to now they treat me like I don't even deserve to be looked at. That is all, I apologize. That is all rooted in self-concept, always, because you can change the story about them, the way that they treat you, and you can manifest them in, but self-concept is more or less always about keeping your manifestations at the end of the day, and that's obviously what you want. You don't want to put all this effort in to, get the money, get the job, get the person, get healthy, you're doing all this stuff, and then it's such a struggle to keep it, because remember, yes, you are the creator. Obviously, you're in control of your brain, but why are you putting so much like effort into other people or other things instead of yourself first? Your self-concept should be the most important thing to you because it's about you at the end of the day. And one of the things that I learned when I started doing self-concept work, and I know this is something that not a lot of people might agree with, but and maybe this is just me as a person, I don't know, but it's very rare for me to, for example, have an SP where I'm like, I have to manifest. Like with SPs, I usually don't manifest because I don't care enough. I don't know how to say it. Like I will manifest good things for them. You know, if they're going through something, I will help them. I will do that kind of stuff. But I'm not really a person to, you know, go out of my way to manifest a specific person. I will like manifest someone out of thin air. That's different, but I don't know them then obviously. But putting so much effort, like to me in my mind, most people are replaceable because it's about me and not about everybody else. Which doesn't mean that you don't care about them or that you can't love them or that you can't appreciate them or that you don't want to fight for the relationship if there's something going on. It's more about not putting your entire happiness into one person and putting your entire focus on them, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. There's only so much manifestation energy you have throughout each day. And you need to ask yourself, do I really want to waste all of that energy on one topic? And it doesn't even have to be about a person, but I do see it most often with people. Like normally people don't come to me and say, you know, I'm trying to manifest money and it's costing me my sleep or something. This is mostly about people. And it's okay to kind of, you know, spiral a little bit every now and again because that's normal and natural. But if you're someone who's been doing this for months, sometimes years in some cases, then it's really time to take a step back and reevaluate why you're doing this. And if this is maybe about something different altogether, and you're just tying this fantasy to this person when you should be working on your self-concept, which, fun fact, most time when you do, you start not wanting that specific person anymore. This happened, and I've said this happened with my marriage. This happened with other relationships that I've had. It happened to me so many times where I was just like, I could manifest change, but I really don't want to. I also hold like different beliefs in terms of, you know, people are always coming back anyway. So it's not like the door is always forever closed. That's just a belief I hold because it's just something that, again, goes back to childhood trauma. So coming and going is something that I personally deal with a lot. So if you're someone who deals with ghosting, hot and cold behavior, or relationships falling apart and then they come back and then they leave again and then they come back again, it would maybe be beneficial to tap into childhood trauma and see if there's anything there. I was just very recently having a conversation with someone that knew me at that age where I was able to kind of gauge like, okay, maybe this is what's going on. So if you have someone who you can talk to, you might not always remember. It can be helpful if you're someone who needs to understand. If you're someone who doesn't need to understand or you just don't care, then you can just affirm that away in general. But I find that, you know, affirmations like, oh, I'm always chosen, I'm always valued, I'm always this, that, and the other, when there might be trauma attached to it that doesn't get covered by those affirmations, is almost like a waste of your time, because obviously you want to use your time in the most productive manner, and that should always be tied directly to whatever trauma you're dealing with versus just spewing out general affirmations because they worked for someone else, if that makes sense. So yes, you can manifest whatever you want without self-concept. Would I recommend it? I wouldn't recommend it unless you're in a dire emergency situation where you absolutely have to have something right now, but I would still try and see what kind of self-concept stuff, like talk with yourself, comes up, see what it means, see where it leads you, and then do the work after the fact to ensure that A, you don't get into the situation again, and B, that when you are then working on other things, it will make it a lot easier. You might not even have to consciously manifest certain things anymore, because if your self-concept is on point, you will find that a lot of these smaller affirmations that you're doing and things that you're trying to manifest just fall to the wayside. Let's take the example of SP. You are still probably gonna have an easier time, you know, manifesting someone different or being in a relationship because you've done it before. When you did it subconsciously, you've done it before. But more times than not, if you are someone who tries to manifest a specific SP, but you had no trouble, let's say, getting into a relationship with them in the first place, or maybe dating someone new, that oftentimes from what I've seen is a relationship that then goes haywire. So you're thinking, okay, if I want a proper SP, I have to manifest and I have to do all of this. But if I want a shitty relationship, I can just let it go and someone will come to me. That's also bad self-concept, by the way. So keep that in mind, that if you feel like you have to put so much effort into one specific SP that you feel like maybe doesn't want you or whatever, that might be because of your self-concept, because you feel like this person is too good for you, or this person, doesn't want you for whatever reason, or they might treat you well and God, we can't let that happen. Those kind of thoughts might come up. So always reevaluate not just what you want to manifest, but why you want to manifest it. And that's where the self-concept always hooks into. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight. And if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I will see you in the next video.